Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's tutorial we are going to do something very different. We are going to go over the how to create a smart contract on our own. So smart contracts are what makes blockchains programmable. So in the previous tutorials I've been building APIs using Python, JavaScript, and building websites using those applications, and all those applications involve the use of databases. We have went over how to talk with the databases in Python and Flask using Flask Fast API, Django, and we did all of that, right? So now we're going to move towards building maybe something like a decentralized application, because I noticed most of my subscribers, most of you guys are actually web application programmers, because I mostly create videos on web application and data science. So one of the most trending things right now is the Web 3.0. So in Web 3.0 is built upon blockchains, and blockchains are made programmable by use of smart contracts. So in this tutorial I'm just going to introduce you to smart contracts, and we're going to build a simple smart contract using Ethereum. So for this video we're just going to build a very simple smart contract. So you guys, if you're interested in that, you can leave a comment in the comment section below. Maybe in the future videos we can go ahead build websites on how to create, maybe to do apps using blockchains to create our simple versions of cryptocurrency or cryptocurrencies and stuff like that, instead of just using the traditional web application that we are building so far. So the world is progressing, and I think it's also important that the channel also introduces new concept that you guys can learn and benefit from. So we're going to go ahead and create a series simple smart contract. By the way, if you're new to this channel, my name is Code Prince, and I make tutorials on web applications, Django, Python, JavaScript, and also I do some tutorials on data science and other stuff like that. So you guys, if you're interested in those tutorials and stuff like that, kindly consider subscribing to the channel. I also do videos on computer vision and other stuff like that, so kindly consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and try it. I'm just going to pull up I'm going to be using Google throughout all of this, because I want to make it more like a research thing rather than something more already made. Okay, so that you guys can go ahead and do your own research and other stuff and find out if you're really interested in Web 3.0, because Web 3.0 is finally going to take over at some point. So it's only important that we start moving towards Web 3.0. So I'm going to make it more like a research thing rather than a pre-made presentation video. Okay, so let's find out what a blockchain is. So a blockchain is basically a digital ledger of transactions that is duplicated across all nodes of a given computer network. So I'm just on this website. So the website is called euromoney.com. So you can go there, euromoney.com, and you can read it. I'm going to leave the link in the description below. So a blockchain is basically a way of to decentralize stuff. So we basically have a digital ledgers, and those digital ledgers are duplicated and distributed across all nodes within a computer network, and all nodes connected to the computer network can have access to those ledgers. So nobody is nobody owns that thing, or nobody has a superior power over it, like our current systems like Facebook, Twitter, and other stuff, whereby Twitter can just one day decide to block you out of Twitter. And decentralized applications are decentralized, they're distributed across all nodes within a computer. So that's basically what a blockchain is, and blockchain is what powers different of our technologies like cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and decentralized applications. Okay, so how can we program blockchains? Okay, so this is what a blockchain is. Okay, it's just a network of distributed ledgers across a computer network. So how can I program my own how can I program a blockchain? So now that you understand that a blockchain is just a digital ledger, a system of digital ledgers that are stored within a computer network, distributed to all nodes within that computer network, and any device or any node connected to that computer network can have access to the blockchain. So now that we have that basic understanding of what a blockchain is, how do we program blockchains? And this leads to what we're going to talk about in this tutorial, and this is called the smart contracts. And I'm going to we're going to go ahead and program our own smart contracts at the end of this video. So a smart contract is simply just computer programs that are stored on a blockchain and executed based on certain condition, as stated on this Google search. So I want to make it more of a research thing rather than just a pre-presented video, as I said earlier on. So this is what basically a smart contract is. It's just a programs that are run on blockchains, and it can be used to power different things like cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and other stuff like that. Okay, so when we want to program a blockchain, we're going to be talking about smart contracts, and this is what we're going to create at the end of this video. So let's get started to it. So we just go to this website called remix.ethereum.org, and then from there you can just go ahead and I don't remember if you need to create an account, but I already have access to it. So if you're there, you just go ahead and create a file here. So make sure that you go to remix.ethereum.org, and this is just gives you access to a blockchain that you can use, program your stuff and test stuff out here, because to actually work with a real blockchain there is something known as a gas fee. You need to pay some gas fee, which will cost you some money, but this website provides you free ability to test and other stuff like that. We'll talk about gas fees and other things maybe in the future videos. So let's go ahead and look at what smart contracts are. So you can see if you just have an account here and you have access to this part, you can see this part called a folder called accounts. So click on that folder, and inside of that folder you can see you have artifacts and other .sol files. So these .sol files are Solidity files. Okay, just like we have Python files. So Solidity is a programming language, and Solidity is what we use to program smart contracts and blockchains. So in this tutorial we're going to be using Solidity to create our smart contract. So let's go ahead and create our own file here. So I'm just going to call it test. Let's call it test.sol. So I hope you guys can see. So I've created the file here, so I'm just going to zoom in a bit so you can see I have the file here called test.sol. Okay, so now that I have that file, what I'm simply going to do is go ahead and actually begin to code. So the first thing I'm going to do is to specify the version of Solidity that I want to use. I already told you earlier on that Solidity is a language that is used to program these smart contracts. Okay, so you don't have to actually go and start learning Solidity from scratch, like what's an if statement. Once you have the basics of web development, you can easily catch on using Solidity. Once you know Python and JavaScript, you can easily catch up on Solidity. Solidity is very similar to JavaScript, in fact. And in this tutorial on my channel, I've done over JavaScript and Python tutorials, so I assume most of you are comfortable with those languages. So let's go ahead and actually program this. So we're going to say pragma Solidity, pragma, and then we're going to say Solidity. Solidity, and then you specify the version. So I want a version that is greater or equals to 0.7.0, and it is less than 0.9.0. okay, this is just to specify the version of Solidity that I want to use, because Solidity is a programming language, just like we have Python 2 and Python 3. It's the same concept here. So I'm going to go ahead and create my contract, and to create that I'm simply going to use the contract keyword, and I'm going to call it my first contract. Yeah, just like that. I know the naming convention is not the best, but yeah, that's how we can create. Then you can name it anything you want. So in here I'm just going to go ahead and actually create a variable, and this variable we're going to call it is going to be a string, and it's going to be name. So our program is just going to be a smart contract that can store names and be able to refresh those names. So this variable, unlike Python or other programming language, this variable gets destroyed once the program has stopped executing. But whenever we run these smart contracts are stored on a blockchain. So this variable is permanently going to be on a blockchain. That's why we can say that blockchains are immutable, unchangeable, and mostly difficult to hack and cheat the system, because this is going to be permanently on the blockchain. So once we have that, I'm just going to create a function. I'm going to create a quality function. I'm going to say get, and this get is what it's simply going to do. It's going to return to us the variable called name. So we're going to say return name, just like that. So Solidity, what you have noticed, I'm ending every line with a semicolon. Yeah, that's what you do in Solidity. You have to end every line with a semicolon. So now we have to set this to make it a public, okay, so that everybody can access it. So I'm going to say public, and then you're going to say view, and you're going to say results, and it's going to return to us we're going to say returns, and returns, what it's simply going to do, it returns a string. That's all. So let's actually, this is string, and you're going to say is memory type, just like that. So just by specifying these values, we have simply created a get method. So this can think of this as a class, and this class we have methods, right? And this is one of the methods, and this method has a get method, and it simply returns to us the name. It's just like we are creating a getters and a setters here. So the return is going to simply return to us the name, and it's going to be a public, and it's view, and it returns a string from the memory. Great. So okay, let's create another function. Let's call this function a get function. So it's actually, sorry, a set function. So you can say function, going to call it set, and once it's simply going to take in, it's going to take in a string, and you're going to store this. It's going to be memory, and this is going to store it in a variable. This string is going to be name. Okay, and what it's simply going to do, we're going to call this a public. We're going to make this a public method. So I'm going to say public, and then you can open that curly braces, and you can say name is equals to underscore name, just like that. And just by writing those, that's all we need to create our smart contracts. Now we have our smart contracts ready. What we need to do is simply need to compile the smart contracts. So I'm going to go ahead and actually compile it, and hopefully if you don't have an error, we have compiled that code. So you can go to this section right here, and in this section let me just go back to this section right here. In this section you can deploy that smart contract. So once this smart contract is deployed, you can just I press the deploy again. You can see we have this, so it has been pushed to the blockchain. Okay, that's what deploying does. It pushes the contract to the blockchain, and you can see the receipt for that contract. So you can see from and where it's going. So it's from this hash code, and it's going to this contract, and it also has a gas fee. So what are gas fees? So gas fees, let me just go open up my Google again. As I said, I'm going to make this video of something of a more research, so you guys can go and be able to do your own research to see if you want crypto and you want to do blockchain and stuff. Let me know in the comment section. So you can see that a gas fee is just a payment used to compensate for the computational energy used when deploying that smart contract. So most people say that blockchains are not environmentally friendly because there is a lot of energy, so you pay this fee for that energy that has been used. So it can be a bit tricky because blockchains are usually a lot of hashing and other stuff that involves a lot of computation, so it takes a lot of computing power to do that, which takes energy. So gas fees are what you pay for that. So if you're using a real blockchain, you're actually gonna pay a real fee, but this case you're just using remix.ethereum.org, so we can just use that for free without actually paying any fee. So once we have our blockchain deployed, so let me just close this. It's just something that when I deployed the first time, and then let me just scroll this, make this down here, so you can see I can set name. So I can just go ahead and say my name is code with Prince, just like that. So I can just simply click on set, and once this is simply going to do is going to set that value. So if you click on this, you can actually see the receipt for that transaction. So you pay the gas fee and from and to a hash code. So it's from this hash code and went to this hash code right here. So now I can just go ahead and simply get, and I click on this get, and this get simply what it calls this this method right here, and this method what it simply returns, was the name variable, and you can see the name variable is right here. So let me just scroll in, so you can see right here, you can see code with Prince, which is I set code with Prince, which called this function right here, which has assigned this the underscore name to this variable called Prince, which name, which is this one right here. And if I click on get, it simply returns to us the value right here. So great. So that's very simple to create a smart contracts in Python, using Solidity. So now that we have that done, I can simply go ahead and actually change this function. So you can see this get function, we don't actually need it due to some modifications made to the Solidity language. So you can simply say public, and once this is done, we can be able to access it. So this gives us a function in the background that can be able to access this. So now if I go back here and compile this file again, once the compilation is done, so let me just minimize this and minimize this as well. Once I'm going to compile this, and once I'm done, I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to deploy this. Once it's deployed, so I can just close off this, so you can see it's right here. So I'm going to open up this section, and you can see I can also get name without actually having, so I don't have the get method, because I use a public method, I'm also going to be able to have access to it. So if I run this right now, it runs me nothing. So if I type here code with Prince, and then I press set this value, and now once I get the value, it's going to return to me code with Prince, as you can see right here. So this is just the basics of how you can create that smart contract. So that's why we need to create that smart contract using Solidity, the Solidity programming language. So you guys, if you're interested in more videos on blockchain, that you can use blockchain to build our web applications, so we can move from web 2.0 to web 3.0, then let me know in the comment section below. So thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one, and keep safe. Don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.